Yeah. And we are live. There are professionals who are not underperforming. They are dependable at work. Or they are productive. They are carrying operational weights. They are often the people organizations, rely on. But when advancement or promotion, decisions are made, something strange always happens. You know, the progression does not match the performance. The recognition does not match the contribution. And tonight we are examining one of the most, misunderstood realities in the workplace. The gap between talent and advancement. My name is Victor Molaidime. I welcome everyone who is joining us tonight. And I'm not doing this alone. I'm here with the phenomenal Mr. Chooks Gracious. Hello, Mr. Chooks. How are you doing today? Welcome.
I'm doing great, Victor. Hi, nice to meet you. Many professionals are taught to work hard, deliver results, stay dependable, and telling them that automatically gives them a framework that is all they need to become successful in their career. But many eventually discover that contribution alone does not explain advancement. So organizations do not evaluate talent only through output. They also evaluate visibility, positioning, leadership perception, strategy, trust, and influence. And tonight, this conversation is not about motivation. We don't do that in the Swift Institute. It's about understanding how organizations actually interpret advancement.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Chooks, for that. And this session is actually for professionals who actually know that they are capable, people who know that they are productive, people who know that they are valuable, and yet still feel professionally stagnant. This session is actually for people who are carrying responsibility, who are solving problems within their organizations, who are supporting outcomes and remaining dependable. But still, they are unclear why advancement, why promotion is not following.
And to help us unpack this conversation properly, we're joined by Maunga Masopito. She's from Botswana. She's one of our most awaited guests. She is a people and culture professional with enterprise in talent management, organizational development, workforce effectability, employee engagement, and organizational advancement system. Her work sits directly within the area where organizations evaluate, interpret, and structure and position talent internally. Please, everybody on this platform, join us as we welcome Miss Maunga Masopilto.
Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. Like Chucks has said, my name is Maungo Masiapeto, and I am a certified talent practitioner and also a chartered organizational development practitioner. So my job really sits at analyzing and assessing employees' performance, and I also sit as a capacity builder as a talent practitioner. I also want to thank the Swift Institute for the opportunity to be part of this conversation and creating a space where we could also have this conversation. Tonight, I want to frame this discussion around two important concepts that organizations constantly evaluate, whether employees realize it or not. It's always going to be about capability and capacity, because in many organizations, advancement decisions are not influenced by what someone can do, but what the organization believes they can carry, sustain, and scale at the next level. So that would be your capacity. Most of us are really stuck because we focus more on capability. So I don't know if I should keep on going or you will interrupt with a few questions.
Victor, that'll be
Yes.
you.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. And once again, thank you so much, Mango, for joining us. We are really, really honored, and we are really, really looking forward to having this conversation tonight. Just before we get into the main course of the day, at the Swift Institute, we actually focus on helping high-performing professionals move from capacity to positioning and advancement. Our institutional position is simple. Many professionals are not stuck because they lack competence. They are stuck because their competence is not being translated into visible, measurable, strategically positioned value within organizational systems. And as we get started, um, basically, many professionals enter the workplace with a very understandable assumption. They believe that if they become exceptionally competent, they work hard, they solve problems and consistently deliver results, advancement will eventually take care of itself, just like you pointed out, Mango. Um, in many ways, that belief is actually reinforced early in their careers because competence is often what gets them hired, it's what gets them started, it's what gets them trusted and given responsibility. But over time, something happens. Many of them begin to discover a surprising reality. And the very thing that made them valuable operationally does not always make them advancement ready organizationally. So some of them are known for execution, but never seen as leaders. Some even become indispensable to the work, but invisible to advancement decisions. So this raises an important question about the difference between being competent and being perceived as ready for greater influence, responsibility, or leadership, as the case may be. So, Maungo, as we get started, from a people and culture perspective, where do capable professionals often get trapped in competence only mindsets?
Okay, let me also refer back to what I said earlier that I wanted to focus this talk on two concepts, capability and capacity. So, capability is your competence, it's your technical skills, your expertise, your ability to execute, solve problems, deliver outcomes, and perform consistently. Capability is what makes professionals trusted within organizations. These are people that organizations rely on. You might have heard the dependable employee, the problem solver, the high achiever, the person who always gets it done. Those are the people that are capable of the job. But advancement decisions are really based on capability alone. Usually, people get stuck in operations and they will get labeled as operational anchors. Those are people that we merely depend on to get operations done. They're not visible, not because they don't work hard or they're not out of their shells, but they're stuck on operations. We become dependable on these individuals to a point where we don't see them leaving those positions, but we see them there because we know they will get the job done. So the problem here is not your performance, it's not your capability, but it is your capacity. So capacity is different from capability. Capacity is the organization asking, can this person operate at a greater complexity? Can they lead beyond tasks? Can they influence across teams? Can they handle ambiguity, pressure, and strategic responsibility? Can they scale with the future direction of the business? So that is your capacity. I think in my case, I experienced this early on in my career where I was stuck in operations. I was responsible for recruitment. I was responsible for onboarding. I was responsible basically for administration. So I got to learn as I progressed within my career that for me to move on and climb the ladder and move on to now higher positions, I need to work more on my capacity. How much more can I take? How much more can I expand beyond my technical skills? I think also what traps us into those operational roles, we focus more on the technical skills instead of the soft skills. But I always tell people that when you climb the ladder, your technical skills will not matter. Now I have subordinates that can do clerical work, they can do administration. I myself have to move away from administration and focus more on strategic roles now. I cannot be doing sitting down and scanning CVs anymore. There is somebody who has to do that. So for me, I have to now move away from the technical roles. I have to now attend strategic meetings where I have to now meet with the leadership of the company. I can no longer sit down and take calls, send emails. Basic administration is outside my position now. And that's what we mean when we talk about capacity. So when I speak of capacity, I always say move away from the technical aspects of the job, but focus more on the soft skills. Can you mentor newcomers? Do you see the strategy of the company? Are you able to align your role to the company's overall strategy? So I think the moment we understand the difference between capacity and capability is the moment we'll be able to get ourselves from operational roles now to be able to climb the ladder to higher roles.
Thank you so much, Maungo, for that insightful introduction. But I want to take this in another dimension. Once professionals begin realizing that performance alone, like we rightly said, does not automatically create advancement for them, the next question becomes, what exactly are they misunderstanding about how organizations operate? Because if we say that performance alone can't guarantee the advancement, then there's something that they're missing. So many strong professionals approach career growth with the assumption that if the work is so good and if they work hard, leadership will naturally notice them and it kind of handpick them and reward them appropriately for promotion because their work should speak for them. But naturally, people do that. They say that their work should speak for them. But in reality, like you and I know, many advancement decisions are influenced by factors beyond raw output alone. Okay, factors including visibility, communication, leadership perception, influence, and organizational positioning. These factors are actually what really triggers advancement. So the deeper issue is that many professionals are operating with one understanding of how advancement works, while organizations are often operating with completely different decision-making logical approach to it. So the question now, from your wealth of knowledge and experiences, what do strong performers often misunderstand about how advancement decisions are actually made? What are those things? I want you to give us a life experience, if possible, of how these high performers keep skipping these vital things that their employers or ESCOs are expecting them to showcase for them to get into the next level of their career. Thank you.
Okay. From a people and culture perspective, I've seen that organizations often struggle to separate operational dependence and from leadership progression. We as employees see I'm delivering exceptional results, but the organization may be asking, yes, but can this individual operate beyond execution? So that is entirely different. It's a different evaluation. And this is why advancement decisions are often misunderstood. Employees naturally believe performance should lead directly to promotion, but organizations are usually assessing broader organizational factors. Like I said, I'm from also an OD perspective, we usually look at leadership readiness. Is someone ready to lead? And then we look at succession potential. Should there be anything that would happen, let's say to me, is my subordinate or my subordinates, are they ready to take over my position? And then we also look at strategic visibility. Are you visible within the organization, outside your team? Do people know what you can do? A few years earlier, when I joined my organization, I was part of the ESG team. I led an ESG team. Mind you, I got into that position. I didn't know anything about ESG. I'm in HR, but I strategically went into that position knowing very well that I want to be visible. The CEO was part of that team. A few committee members were also part of that team. I led that team for a full year. I did not know what I was doing, but because I was there, people saw that this lady is actually capable of leading. She's a natural leader. She can pull resources together. Our strategy was later presented to GTI International, which is like our world, our overall network across the world. So from a people and culture perspective, they selected me, and I thought like, what? I don't know anything about ESG. I'm just a mere HR person. But you see, that alone played a huge role in my progression in that company, because I started off as an associate. I was supposed to become an executive, but just from my presence alone and the impact that we made in that little committee, I ended up being promoted to a senior executive. That means I skipped one level from that I should have went through, and I went to another higher level, which is now senior executive. At my age, I was the youngest senior executive in the company, not because I was a good HR person, but because I was visible within the company. To this day, now that I have climbed the ladder, my CEO comes to me a lot and tells me like, nowadays I don't see you a lot, not because I'm not doing anything, but now I'm so focused on my core objectives as a PNC. I no longer do those things. So it also shows you that that visibility is very, very important for your career, to a point where if I'm not doing anything, they also get worried, like, where is Maungo? Like, from that impact alone, it really did me a huge favor. And I also tell people, like, if there's any chance for you to do anything outside your team, always take it, more especially when there's senior people involved in that project. And then the next factor that I want to talk about is business timing. I want people to also understand that advancement is not really focused more on performance. There's also business timing, how well the organization is doing. At the moment where we are expanding, there's more need for leaders, so we can promote the existing talent based on leadership readiness, like I said, and succession potential. And then we have future organizational needs as well. So these are some of the factors that will determine whether a person advances to the next stage or not. And this is where talent management also plays an important role. Talent management is essential on how organizations identify capability, evaluate capacity, and structure future pipelines. Like I said before, we play the role of capacity builders. We are not just there to hire and promote, but we also have to provide people with that capacity. We have to enable employees to also move on to higher positions.
Thank you so much, Maungo, for that. While you were speaking, there was a very, very strategic point that I actually took note of, and it was from your story. That particular issue of you leading out of your comfort zone. I will want us to. I just believe there is still one right now, because I know that there are so many people who will see this particular kind of an opportunity. It's an opportunity that has launched you, out of where you were, right? And it has given you some good perception that people have about you, right? And I just want us to just a little bit talk to us more about what was it like, accept in that particular leadership role that you had no clue about? Just before we go on, can you just take us through that experience just a
Um,
little bit more,
And
and
excuse me,
how were you
Maunga,
able to
before
navigate?
you go into that, Victor, I also want her to like outline to us some of the challenges she had to overcome. Okay, because there might be some people that are there, but if she just tell us how she's get through, it will be okay, fine. But I want also the challenges that she had to overcome because that's her story. Thank you.
yes, the
Absolutely,
challenges that
absolutely.
we
I'll go over to you,
we
please.
Oh, thank you. The challenges that we had to overcome for me personally was that this was the first ESG team we've ever had in Botswana. So ESG was a buzzword at the time. So from me coming from a perspective of HR, I didn't even know that HR could contribute positively towards an ESG strategy. The social aspect of ESG was more about people, and I also got to learn like, oh, okay, fine, we also as a PNC team do contribute towards the ESG strategy. So the challenge now was trying to align our strategy with the ESG strategy. So we literally had to come up with the very first strategy for ESG. And like I said, it was so good that it was presented worldwide. But the challenge here was just coming with something new. We did not have a template like any other team. The AML team had templates, the compliance team had we'd had nothing. We started from scratch. It included a lot of research from our own time, a lot of having to pull resources together because at that time we did not have anything. So we were studying everything from scratch. And I think the beauty of it was just understanding leadership and also understanding how to influence people because I was not working alone. I had 7 other team members from different teams, and these were skilled people. The audit people understood ESG, the advisory people were the experts in ESG. I was leading experts. So I think that was also the beauty of it. But the other challenge was also just my confidence, I guess. I did not know anything about ESG. So I had to go and learn more about ESG. But I guess that the challenge was basically the self-confidence, really, because I was just like, how am I going to lead a team of experts on something they're knowledgeable about? And I don't know anything. So I guess that was just the main challenge. But I had to overcome those challenges because I was appointed by the very same people that I was leading. We had to vote. So everybody voted for me. So I was also like, okay, fine, I can do this thing. I can lead these people. If they believe in me, I also didn't have a choice, so I had to do it. So I think that was also the beauty of it. But the learnings was just also learning how to expand my influence, strategic exposure. Like I said, the CEO used to sit in these meetings, and that strategy that we came up with was presented by the CEO at the international conference. And then I think one of the other things that I also learned was the importance of contributing beyond your immediate role. So that was also something that was just like amazing, having to be part of the team that was contributing towards the ESG strategy.
All right, thank you so much, Maungo, for that. And I just want to first of all salute your grit. I can just imagine what it took for you to to settle that in, to get things rolling. And I think it's a very, very important thing, just to understand that there are that present themselves in uncomfortable ways like that, which are very, very important things that can, launch you into something very, very important. And while you were also talking, and at this point, I want us to talk about organizational interpretation. And I'm just seeing it this way that if advancement is not driven by performance alone, just like we've already buttressed, then organizations must evaluate professionals through a broader set of signals, beyond technical competence and daily execution. And the truth is, in many workplaces, there are highly competent professionals who consistently deliver results, yet leadership seems to still hesitate, to view them as ready for advancement. And the contradiction is this. I think you stated it earlier on, that someone can be excellent at their current role operationally, but still not inspire confidence at the level where leadership, influence, visibility, and higher organizational responsibility are being evaluated. So I think the deeper question we will have here becomes understanding what organizations are actually looking for internally when they assess leadership potential. The question we should be asking here right now is,
Yes,
at this
thank you so
point,
much.
technical competence. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. From an organizational perspective, I also believe that companies have a responsibility here. Organizations should also create clearer advancement frameworks so employees understand what capability looks like, what leadership capacity looks like, and how progression decisions are made. The other day, we were having a talk about our competency framework. The competency framework was unknown to a lot of people, but the competency framework is what will give us a guide and an understanding of what the next level of your career wants from you as an employee. So I think when it comes to also giving people a clear vision and what to expect, we also have a responsibility as organizations, because when advancement systems are unclear, many professionals internalize stagnation personally, when in reality the disconnect may be structural or interpretative. So ultimately, the gap between talent and advancement is often the gap between demonstrated capability and perceived capacity. Capability may make you valuable today, but capacity is what organizations believe will sustain the value tomorrow or in the future. So yeah, I think let me just stop there and then give you a moment to give me the questions.
Okay. Thank you, Mausa, for that. Like, that was so insightful. But there's something that happens, all that you've been explaining, when a high performer start implementing this. That's something that usually happens in an organization. You can relate to this. Is that the professionals that begin gaining trust inside the organization based on what they're doing. So they are now being given more responsibilities, more tasks, greater operational dependency, because they're exhibiting some kind of competence in what they do. Now, many high performers eventually find themselves carrying increasing amount of work, responsibilities, different problems from different teams are being channeled towards them because of what they are doing. But despite the increased responsibility, there is often little corresponding movement in authority. Like, what I'm trying to say is that they give them a lot of work to do, a lot of supervision, but they're still stuck at that level. Like, there's no increase, okay? There's no visibility. They're over the professionals. They don't have anything to show for in advancement, if we can put it that way. But they are given a whole lot of work based on what they are doing. So the deeper issue becomes understanding whether the responsibility being given to them is genuine for positioning, advancement, or whether organization is simply becoming more dependent on the operational influence. Like, the contradiction here is this work and responsibility that's being heaped upon me. Is it for advancement, or is it a routine that this organization is just giving to me based on what I'm doing, just to keep me at that level and keep, just like a rocking chair that a barber uses. You're making a movement, but you're not advancing, you're not going anywhere. Now, Maungo, how can professionals tell the difference between responsibility that positions them for advancement and responsibility that simply increases workload? Just like a rocking chair, from your experience,
Okay, I
can you
think
just
we need
help
to.
us know how?
All right, thank you. I think for this one, we need to understand how value is interpreted in organizations. So
Correct.
for us in our corporate space, when we speak of value, we are not talking about administration. Anybody can do administration. So from I'll give examples with where I am because I'm familiar with that work environment. But what we do as an audit and advisory firm, we want people with soft skills. So if you are focused on administration, you will be stuck in administration because at the end of the day, value is not interpreted from administration. Yes, administration does add value to the organization. Yes, people do need administrators in the organization to get little things done. But if that's where you're stuck, you'll be there forever. So you need to understand that where we are as an advisory firm, we need someone who can now go out and talk to clients, someone who can deliver presentation, someone who will understand strategy beyond just their role, someone who would understand what alignment looks like in the future, someone who will understand the key drivers of business, someone who would understand the secondary drivers of business. So you need to understand how value is interpreted in your organization. In other organization, administration may be the perfect role, or that's where they would get value from. But in where we are not looking for operational people. We are looking for people who can understand strategies much better. So I think to go back to my point, we need to understand how value is interpreted in our organizations. Because, like I said earlier on, the people that we usually depend on is not that they're not capable of leading, but because we depend so much on them, they become so dependable to a point we don't even want to move them. I once had a conversation with one of my managers back when I was working in insurance. There was some lady who was known as the superhero of the team, but the superhero was not getting promoted. This was the lady who could pull miracles. During COVID times, she could make 100,000 pula in a month, but that lady was not getting promoted. So it was like during a time when people were not buying insurance, she was still achieving her targets. But for some weird reason, she was not getting promoted because I asked this lady during our performance appraisals, like, why is this lady not getting promoted? She told me, like, if I move her, who's going to get me these sales? Because the moment she moves into a different role, my targets are going to be affected because the moment she moves into a team leader position, she's no longer going to be at the front desk selling insurance, moving around, advertising on Facebook. Those things will stop. So at the moment you move that person, now it's like you've disrupted the whole team. The person we usually depend on now is nowhere to be found. So she'll also start exposing the gaps in the team. So sometimes because you are more dependable, we will give you that administrative work because we also know like the moment you move, everything will fall apart. So I think we also need to understand, like Chicks was saying, we need to understand the type of work that we are also being given. Is it the type of work that will get you to the next level? Or is it the type of work that's also going to get you stuck? And I think, like I said before, these are some of the conversations that we also as organizations should be transparent about. The conversations that we have during appraisals should also be beneficial to employees. We cannot be having someone stuck because we don't want to move them to another position because it will disrupt operations. So I think that's where the focus should also be.
Thank you, Maunga. Victor, before you come in, Maunga, this situation that you just painted to us now, I have a friend that is in that position. That is why I've just been been calm all this while you've been explaining. Now, this guy is in IT, he's a tech guy. This guy can, I mean, Victor knows what I'm talking about. This guy can design a website under seconds and host it and do a whole lot of things. I mean, he's in Cyprus. The guy does amazing things. But the problem is he's not being promoted. And what you just said now is what I'm trying to think is the problem. They don't want to move him because if they move him, it's going to affect the company. But Maungo, the question now is, this guy calls me because he knows what I'm doing with Victor. And he says, Chuck, look at what I'm experiencing in this company. People that don't even do what I'm doing are being promoted, given vacations, and they travel. But while other people travel, I'm still stuck here doing this. Now, my question is, Maunga, if they don't want to move this guy, what do you suggest this guy to do? Because if he leaves the company, that company is going to like have a very serious issue. Now, I want you to talk in both ways. Talk as if you are my friend, and then talk as the CEO who you are. How are you going to handle this situation? Like, how are you going to make this guy stay, but stop having this mentality that I'm being overused? Or for the guy, what do you advise this high performer that's been here doing his work and people are just going by the side and flying up and they keep telling him, you are amazing. There's nobody like you in this company and you are doing this. And the situation is what you just said. They don't want to move him because he's the best there. But my question is, why won't they move him up the ladder or maybe increase his incentive, like give him vacations or more salary bonuses or thereabout? But it's still the same pay he's getting, but he's not being promoted. And you don't want to move him because you don't want to lose what he's doing in the company. Now, I want you to address this, Maungo, because I have a friend. Maybe he's even connected now. I know he might be connected to what we're doing. So I want you to give him advice on what to do.
He's looking for solutions. So Maungo, please.
Yeah, he's looking for solutions. I know. Okay. You see, he just sent me a message. He said, "Yeah, tips some here."
Okay. When it comes to people that are stuck in those operational roles, and mostly we don't want to move them, I think it also comes back to the individual to also ask and also understand how value is interpreted, like I said before. And also, it's also important for us to understand the competency frameworks within the company. We need to understand, like I keep saying to people, that when you climb up the ladder, it's no longer technical things. And I know with IT people, this is always the problem. IT people are too technical. Even now, I have an IT director who is too technical. In meetings, we will ask, what is the solution to this problem? You will find someone explaining about drives, clouds. We don't know anything about those things. We just want to know what is the solution to the problem. So until we get out of the technical mindset to understand that sometimes we work with other people outside the organizations that are not too technical as we are, it will also help us develop soft skills. And I keep saying, like, the moment you climb up the ladder is no longer about technical skills, but it's your soft skills that are going to matter. Like I mentioned earlier, to say, when you are in an operational role, you also have subordinates that can do that job. So what is going to differentiate you from the subordinates and yourself as someone who wants to advance their career? So it's more important to develop your soft skills to make sure you get out of operations now and you start seeing the team from a top end, I want to say, but you cannot just be operational and then expect to be moved, because like we just rightfully mentioned, that the moment you're moved, it's going to cause disruptions within the team. So the focus here should be more on soft skills and ensuring that you are able to expand beyond operations. You are able to lead, you are able to mentor, you are able to see the strategic vision of the company and align your role with the strategy of the company. Because at the end of the day, we all contribute towards the strategy and the objectives of the company. So as a person, you also need to understand that's where the problem is. We are too technical. We need to also develop soft skills to ensure that we are able to move from just doing to also overseeing. And I think that's what also enables us to climb the ladder. So I think for your friend, basically move away from operations, because the moment you become an operational anchor, that's where you are stuck. You need to move away from operations and also start seeing the bigger picture outside operations. And I think when I joined the company, my manager also struggled from the same thing. My manager was a manager at the time. So HR is quite difficult in the sense that we are more technical. Everything that we do is more technical. But for you to now move from HR manager to director, you need to understand how HR fits within the business. We are trying to move away from operations. We are trying to become what we call a business partner to the organization. So what my boss was failing at was basically understanding the strategy, understanding work beyond just recruitment, administration, compliance in HR, filing, and those things. So she was basically stuck in operations. And every time she went for interviews, it also showed that this person is not ready for director roles. It showed during interviews. She came back to me and said, I went for this interview, but this is the feedback that I got. One of the feedback that she got was the fact that she was too operational, because the answers that she kept giving in interviews was like, oh, I'm responsible for doing permits, I'm responsible for recruitment. Like I said before, a junior can do those things. So what sets you apart from your juniors as someone who wants to advance into the next step of the ladder? So I think that's also something that your friend should be conscious about.
Amazing, amazing.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much, Maungo, for that. You did mention something very, very powerful, while we're having this particular last slide. And it tied to the story of you leading out of your comfort zone earlier on. And you said, in terms of the technical skills or the expertise, you were leading a group of experts. But something I picked from there is the fact that you had leadership credentials, leadership capabilities, which does not matter whether you are working with experts, you are able to put experts together to strategically move them towards the vision of the company. And you did mention some about strategic vision alignment with the organizations and all of that. Having leadership, your soft skills, like you said, like you rightly put. And that's really a practical thing for people to get. As we round up, what are practical shifts that professionals can begin making if they want their talent or competence or capability to become advancement ready in organizational systems? Okay, there's someone out there right now. Just give us a summary of just something, 3 things or 4 things that someone can actually get to work about.
Um, okay. I think the first one would be strategic positioning. Stop positioning yourself as an operational anchor. Show your capacity beyond operations. And then the next one is visibility. Like I said, step out of your comfort zone. There will be committees within the organization. Make yourself available, because at the end of the day, you need what we call sponsors. And I forgot to mention the sponsors. Those are people that will speak on your behalf, speak about your performance even when you're not there. So you cannot form relationship with those people if you don't expand beyond your position. So I think that visibility will also help you gain your sponsors. And then the last one, I think I had mentioned this before, to say you should understand how value is interpreted within your organization.
Awesome. Maungo, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. It's really been an insightful session. I have learned a lot myself, and I can't wait to probably have you on future editions of this particular program. Choose what has been your experience. This has been mind blowing, I will say.
Yeah, now I'm gonna meet my friend and I'll tell him to pay me up. So he's gonna pay me because I connected
He
him
just got
to
saved.
Maungo, and Maungo gave him the solution to his problem. Like this guy has been going crazy about this. Now he's got his problem solved without paying anything. So now, Maungo, I'm sorry about it. I'm gonna get this car. So like I'm gonna get this car from him because I know if he had consulted a professional for this, I know he's going to pay, even if it's just to pay for consultation fee. He's going to pay for it because this guy has been stuck for years on this. And I just want to thank you first for developing yourself to be who you are today, Maungo. Because if you had stopped in your process of becoming who you are today, I don't think you will be able to prefer the solutions you're giving to us. It might seem so simple to somebody who is connected to us in this session, but I know it took you years to build yourself to become who you are. So from the Swift Institute, I and Victor and our leaders want to say thank you for working on yourself to become the Maungo we're seeing today. And I want to show you that we've had a whole lot of guests on this platform, that come and go. But Victor will attest to it that we have some guests that will bring on board, and we know that these ones are going to be here for a while. so Maungo, just be expecting another invite from us because this is just the tip of the iceberg. I know that you have a lot to share to the world, and we'll be glad to host you over and over and over and over and over. I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for all you're doing in Botswana and in the world at large. Thank you so much for being part of this live session at the Swift Institute. Victor, over to you.
Victor. All right. At this point, I would love Maungo to actually talk to us. There might be people who will want to get in contact with you as regards what you do, and some people might want to know you better. So we talked about you. Please talk to us about you yourself and how we can contact you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, like I said before, I am a certified talent practitioner. I am also a content creator on TikTok. I do give advice on how to progress in your career, how to prepare for interviews, how to basically CV writing skills as well. I'm on TikTok. If you want to see that content, you can just type in my name. You will find my TikTok page there. And I'm also a writer on LinkedIn, which is why I keep getting these speaking opportunities. I think because I write well, people generally assume I'm a good speaker, but I'm really not. Speaking is not my talent. I'm more into writing. So if you are interested in also reading my articles, you can just find me on LinkedIn, still at Maungo Masiapeto. Outside work, I also do own a consultancy company. We focus more on organizational design and structure. We also focus more on change management and basic HR operations, which are not really my thing. I do have other employees working on that, but my main focus is on the very first three elements that I mentioned. So that's me outside work. At work, I am a senior people and culture senior executive. That's basically my main work. I focus more on talent management and organizational design, behavior, and culture.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure hosting you tonight. I want to say a very big thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us from all over the world. It's been an insightful session, and we really look forward to a part two. I think that should come very soon. I know my people are in on this, and
Very soon.
with Maungo.
Very soon, very soon. I'm hoping to make a comeback to the Swift Institute. And once again, thank you so much for inviting me and having the space where we can have these conversations. I'm pretty sure people are going to benefit more from the Swift Institute. I've seen the videos and I'm very impressed by what you guys are doing, and keep up the good work. I hope everybody feels the same way as I feel about your work. Thank you so much for the invitation.
You're welcome.
Awesome, awesome. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Swift Institute, and our institutional position is very simple. Many professionals are not stuck because they lack competence. They are stuck because their competence is not being translated into visible, measurable, and strategically positioned value within organizations. And that's why we exist to, help position capable professionals for advancement. What we have discussed tonight is not simply about advancement or promotion. It's not just about understanding, how promotion is made, but this is more about how organizational systems operate between talent and advancement. Strong performance actually matters, competence matters, contribution matters, but organizations also interpret visibility, positioning, leadership perception, strategic trusts, measurable value. These are very, very key game changers. The unspoken rules of career advancement in the workplace. Advancement is not automatic, it is interpreted, it is structured. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. It's been a great pleasure hosting you. And until we come your way same time next week, I want to say enjoy the rest of your weekend. Maungo, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being on board tonight.